Recently, WhatsApp users in India received a pop up notification informing them about this new privacy policies update, and everyone has been talking about it lately. So, what is this all about? Why do I need to care about this new WhatsApp terms and conditions when I have never read any of the terms and conditions of my previous applications? And most important of all, why is that a messaging app like WhatsApp is more interested in my data? This is exactly what we're going to talk about in today's episode. Let's get started. Hi, welcome to Glitch, a podcast exploring tech news, how stuff works, innovation in our day to day technology, and the news surrounding them. I'm your host Vikram. I'm so excited that you are here. Thanks for joining with me today. Hello everyone. I know it's been a long time since I uploaded my previous episode, and I'm sorry for this delay. I had to take a vacation and there were too many jobs piled up due to this holiday season, and I couldn't find my time to upload another episode here. Also wish you all a wonderful new year, and let's all give a round of applause for our planet Earth for making a successful revolution around its own star, considering all the hard times we humans were going through. Now coming to today's topic, are our mobile phones listening to us? A couple of days ago, something strange happened. A friend of mine and I were discussing about a trip and places we are planning to visit. Very next day, I received a pop-up ads on Facebook about cheap return flights and cheap hotels to stay, and it seemed just spooky and coincidence. But then everyone seems to have a story where their smartphone is listening to them. Lately, I've had many incidents where I tracked the background apps in my Android mobile. I would see Facebook services running in background and mic would be turned on, or for example, Instagram asking for microphone permission. So, are our mobile phones spying on us? I've seen this as a hot topic right now, and there's been much discussion about this. First of all, we need to understand that data collection is a vague concept. Data can include personal information such as your email address and social security number. It can also be your internet activity, including the pages you visit, even the metadata like when you visit those pages. Your emails, messaging platform conversations, online purchases, even financial details like credit card numbers are considered data here. As for who collects these data and why, there is a couple of culprits here. Hackers can use these techniques like phishing to scam you and steal your data, but there's also internet service providers and companies, which in this case WhatsApp's terms and privacy policy update, are allowed to monitor your internet activity and use this as an internet revenue system. They collect these anonymous browsing logs from users and sell this data in the market, which they use to develop hyper targeted online ads. I know this last term would sound all technical here, but that is exactly the revenue model for any online advertising platform. So now the question is, are they listening to our every conversation? Creeping us out by serving us with ads for things straight after we have discussed with our family and friends. According to many cybersecurity experts and researchers from this area, the short answer is yes. But perhaps, in a way, this is not that evil as it sounds. For our smartphones to actually pay attention and record to a conversation, there needs to be a trigger word. This is what we call as wake word. For example, hey Siri, hey Google. Okay, sorry, my phone just picked up the hey Google, let me just take care of it. So without these wake words, any data which we provide is only going to be processed within our own devices. But there are few third-party applications like Shazam and Facebook still have access to these non-triggered data. These kinds of targeted advertising can be more relevant to you, but this requires a third party to know something more about you. For some people, this is creepy, especially if you don't know how they know this information about you. This is equivalent of a stranger coming up to me in the street and saying, "Excuse me, Mr. Vikram, have you heard about our XYZ software company?" I'd be thinking, how did you know my name? And how did you recognize my face? And most important of all, how did you know I work in a software company? What else do you know about me? This is what will be running in my head, right? For example, Google, using machine learning, might work out from my browsing habits what else I might be into. I may have never have searched for this in my entire life, but because of two of my close friends have been searching about something in the shopping environment and I have searched for a semi-related topic before, Google can take an educated guess here. If it is right and I may notice it, if it doesn't, then likely I will just assume it is not a targeted ad for me. If it gets it right and I can't work out on how Google made this connection, then it can be creepy for me. This is when we start thinking things like, is my phone listening to my conversations here? It's easier for us to explain this by associating it with something that we all do, getting information about people by listening to them, than it is to explain it by machine learning or AI. As technology becomes more complex and less easy for people to understand, like how it is done and what is happening behind the screens, it can all be scary, especially when the technology is applied to something which is entirely aimed on advertising and companies making money instead of making life easier for people. For example, if the same machine learning technology is used to do your taxes, we could be probably all be less concerned on how it works, right? Transparency is the key to people accepting new technology like this. If we see any ad, I believe we should be able to find out who is showing this to us, how they know how to show this ad to us first place, and we should be able to connect this information and take it out easily. So this is what I decided to do as a small experiment. I tried saying a bunch of trigger phrases for a period of time. For example, I would be saying like, I am thinking of traveling to Bali next month. I need to get some cheap shoes. I would like to go for a good Chinese restaurant. I chose these three phrases because I would not even remotely search anything related to above mentioned stuffs. I tried to monitor my Facebook ads closely to see if there are any changes. Believe me, the changes literally came overnight. Suddenly, I was getting the best things to do in Bali, the cheapest packages for 3 days in Bali, and shoes from online shopping sites. Though they were all good deals, the whole thing was eye opening for me. And it was also terrifying for me to see all this thing coming up randomly on my Facebook wall, right? So, yes, our phones are listening to us. And anything we say around our phones could potentially be used against us. But it's not something most people should be scared of. Because unless you're a journalist, a lawyer, or have some kind of sensitive information around you, the access of your data is only really going to the advertisers. If you're like everyone else and living in a normal life and talking to your friends about flying to India or Bali, then it's not really that different to advertisers looking into your browsing history. Come on, it's already been monitored. Every site you go, every flight you book, they're already monitoring all this stuff. Something like WhatsApp terms and conditions is not going to change anything here. So, now coming to the conclusion. There is no need to be paranoid about all these targeted ads. This is not something new that companies have come up with. Also, this has nothing to do with the AI taking over our world. Targeted marketing has always been around and used by companies way before internet was in existence. Just because some application like WhatsApp is updating its terms and conditions doesn't mean all our privacy has been lost. Our privacy was invaded the day one we started using such technologies. So it all boils down to the internet hygiene and how well we educate ourselves on the technologies and platforms we are using. I see a lot of forward messages explaining the latest WhatsApp terms and conditions, how your IP address, location, and messages will be tracked from now on, and how we are giving access to WhatsApp to share all these things to Facebook. But irrespective of you accepting WhatsApp terms and conditions or shifting to a completely new application, they are anyways tracking all the information. So instead of freaking out on this, let's just educate ourselves. Irrespective of they tracking your messages, if you are ignorant to share something like your ATM PIN number over a text to someone, doesn't need a message tracking to get access to your bank account. So it again boils down to not blindly giving permissions to your application and keeping a check on your internet footprint. Until then, it's bye from Vikram. Stay tuned to Glitch and be safe. Ciao.